G'day listeners and welcome to another episode of the Scouting Australia podcast, powered by Australian Property Scout Buyers Agency. I'm your host, Sammy Gordon, and today, guys, we have a special guest. He's back in the studio. We haven't seen him for a little bit, thankfully, but he hit me up. His name is James Ibrahim. He is from the land of Mordor. He is also sometimes known by the name of Gandalf or the Silver Dog himself, and he called me and said, Sammy, mate, I want to get back on the show and I want to talk about mindset. I want to do another mindset app.
Give me a crack, Sammy. Give me a crack.
Mate, welcome back.
G'day, listeners, and g'day to you, Sammy.
G'day, mate.
It is always good being up here, and you know how much I love the mindset piece, and especially this particular topic because it is all about procrastination.
Yes, and taking action.
Mate, how
to beat it.
I'm a self-professed procrastinating investor.
Yes.
And the reason why
I thought you were about to say a self-confessed procrastinating idiot. I thought that was you about to say. I was about to say, mate, I agree.
Well, that's part of the caliber of my repertoire, but I have procrastinated so many times, and I've been listening to some of our callers that have reached out, and everyone's coming across the same issues. Right. And I thought we talk a lot about mindset. We talk about the different keys to success. We talk about so many different topics on this podcast. And the mindset, someone once said to me, motivation is like having a shower. It needs to be had daily. And procrastination and the fears and of making decisions, these things happen all the time. It's not as if you just overcome them and it's gone.
Yes.
Because they creep up and they try and bite you on the ass, on your big ass.
Mate, I'm a powerful person. Oh, your little bloody peanuts running around down there.
They sneak up and it's trying to stop you from moving into the place you should be. And that's why I thought, Samuel, we've got to do another topic around mindset.
Mate, I think it's a good one. I know you've been wanting to do it for a while. And I said, mate, why don't we do one around taking action? You go, what about beating procrastination? Like, I struggled with this for a long time, mate. Let me talk about it. I've got real world experience. And mate,
do I
that
really
is what
talk
we do.
Like that?
That was you talking. What are you asking me for? I was playing that back.
It was a long drawl there, wasn't it?
Hey, that's what you are. Say drool or drawl?
Well, both.
Both. But mate, yeah, I think it's a great topic. I think it's a great one to bang into because in Australia, it's actually massive. The amount of people that we know that procrastinate, they sit in the sidelines, they watch markets go past them, and then they go past and they go, oh shit, well, I've missed it, so I'm not going to do anything. And then they wallow in self-misery for a decade, and then it comes back around and they think of doing it again, and then bang, it hits them again. And I think like the thing that I love about doing this is it actually hits home a little bit for me because I had a little bit of, I guess, analysis paralysis a little bit as a younger fella. It was a couple of years here and there, kind of out of the market, trying to make decisions, having a bit of a crack at everything instead of, until I really honed in on my strategy. And I got that from my family. Like my mother in particular was a massive procrastinator, still is. And really, mate, I might send this to my circle. I might send this after to her.
But you won't be invited for dinner anymore.
I don't really care, mate. You're in different states now. But anyway, it is what it is. But I think, man, it's massive because you see so many people doing it. And I think this could even be very strong. There's a lot of the younger generation, I think, could use that little bit of a kick up the arse to start pushing forward and going hard.
Yeah.
But a lot of the older generation, your folk, mate, I think they really could benefit from listening to this podcast and really learning how to take some action, beating procrastination from an old bloke that did it himself as well. Mate, let's dive straight in.
Well, because it's not only the people that are investors at the moment, right? This will be a good reminder for them to stay on the track.
Yes.
Right? Because they're going to get, the procrastination is going to creep into them.
Yeah. You want to get that continual accumulation. You want to keep it growing and keep building it.
And for people, doesn't matter what age you are, if you're a young whippersnapper just starting out and you're not really sure, or a lot of people still say, oh, I missed the boat. I missed the boat. And that is just a bullshit excuse that you've been telling yourself, because I've said it and I'm sure you've said it previously. You think you've missed the boat, but there is always another opportunity.
There's always somewhere else to buy. There's always somewhere worth putting your cash into for a return.
So we're going to keep this nice and snappy, and we're just going to punch through some of the main reasons for procrastination and essentially how to break through them. So I thought, let's just punch straight through, get people G'd up and get ready to go.
You know what the biggest thing I always see is? People waiting for the prime opportunity, the perfect opportunity. Man, I think that's the biggest thing that I see people making the mistake of. They're looking at everything. They're getting analysis paralysis, looking at everything, procrastinating, pull the trigger. They might find a location that they back. They find a couple of properties they think work. but they can't get it perfect.
Yeah.
They either can't get the price absolutely perfect, or maybe the paint is green, or whatever.
Yeah.
Something about this opportunity isn't absolutely perfect. And man, I think this is like the biggest thing that I would see is people really running into this roadblock of needing the absolute perfect opportunity. And sometimes it's not being able to look past the fact of a market hasn't done anything in 10 years. So I'm worried about it not growing, and everything else stacks up. Everything about the area stacks up, but it hasn't grown in 10 years, Sammy. Like, should we be pulling the trigger? Little things like this, or all the different things that are kind of coming into it from that end. I know that's the biggest one for me that I see, and that I used to cop a lot, actually very early in the business before I was, I guess probably confident enough to say to people, look, this is what you've come to me for me to help you with. Yeah, you've paid the money. You need to back me with this decision and then push it through, which obviously we help people move past that these days as well. But yeah, man, what are your thoughts around that?
Well, that one in particular, the thing that changed for me about trying to get it right with that one deal, because if you're only buying one, most people only buy one or two properties, investment properties in their life, right? So there's so much pressure to get that one deal right. But when you take a bigger view of your portfolio and you realize if you're going to build at 5, 10, 15, 20 or whatever it is, it's the cumulative effect of the whole portfolio. So the thing that changed for me is if it was in the sweet spot, I'd have a swing at it, right?
Yep.
And I remember the deals that we started doing. The first deal I was a bit unsure of. After that deal, the penny dropped. I said, anything that's in that range, I'll do it. Straight away, let's go. So you're not focused on getting the perfect deal of one deal. You're getting 10, 15, 20, or you want to build it out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. The other big thing as well, it's always a learning experience. So the first deal, like 99 times out of 100, you aren't going to get the first deal perfect. I mean, if you're using a professional to help you with the purchase, you've got a much stronger chance of getting it very, very right. But the chances of getting it absolutely perfect on the first deal is pretty slim. But going through the process, and especially if you are using the right person, then they get you a win on the way in and they put you in the right area and you get another win. That compounding effect and that winning feeling that you're going to get from it. I speak occasionally about like that snowball effect that comes through and getting bitten by the bug and this thing properly taking off. That happens from winning, and it happens from continually accumulating and sticking to your game plan and going hard with it. And yeah, man, I think the biggest thing you can do is pull the trigger on something, get as close as you can to getting this opportunity as perfect as you can, but pull the trigger on something, even if it's not great, but it's good. Yeah. Obviously we always push for perfect, but we can't get perfect. We get great. We can't get great. We take good. If you're starting out and you're trying to push this thing and get the runs on the board, get the feeling behind you. All right, that worked. Or maybe these are the learnings I had from this thing as well. Maybe this is what I could have done better. And then, yeah, man, but I think the most important thing is getting the run on the board and then moving forward.
Getting started. Yep.
100%.
And the fear, I find that one of the biggest ones is the fear of making the wrong decision.
Yes.
Right? And we've spoken about this. I mean, you already spoken about it already, but the only way you can overcome your fear, I found, is you got to be prepared, right? So you mitigate the downside risk and you give yourself maximum exposure to the upside.
Yeah.
So understanding fear, that it is actually normal. Like I find being fearful is not a bad thing. It's actually going to serve you because it's protecting you.
Yeah.
Naturally.
It's like a safety net.
It's a safety net. So you don't want to be reckless. So stop associating fear with the wrong decision. Fear is just saying, Sammy, make sure you get this right.
Yeah.
Do your due diligence. Get prepared. Make sure you tick the boxes. Engage an expert. Give yourself the best chance to win.
Pull the trigger.
And pull the trigger.
Pull the trigger.
That's it.
Yep.
So, and even if you do make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. You will get another chance.
Yeah, 100%.
But you're going to learn a shit ton from making a wrong decision.
Yeah, 100%.
You're better off making a decision. So don't let fear stop you, because encourage that fear.
And sometimes, and something I'll say on that, maybe someone has pulled the trigger and they've had a bad experience and maybe it wasn't great. Maybe they've had a bit of a win, but it wasn't as good as they hoped it would be. But they might have learned a lot through that process. But they're going, should I do another one? I'm not sure if I should do another one. One of the oldest sayings in the book is it's like a calm sea doesn't make a skilled sailor. You know, like storms make a skilled sailor, because you can't learn how to combat everything if everything's smooth sailing. And I guarantee you will not go through an investment journey where you're chasing 100, 150. Jimmy and I, we were talking offline. I know what you're chasing, mate. It's a much bigger number than that. You kept me on if I actually say what that is?
No, of course.
Like Jimmy's personal goal of what he's chasing his portfolio is $500,000 of net passive income. Now, you cannot chase that $100, $150, $200, $500,000 without some storms along the way. You're going to cop some things that happen. Maybe 4 out of 5 deals are perfect, and and that have smooth sailing, and it's great. But the lessons that you learn out of that 1 of 5, or 1 of 3, or 1 of 10, or whatever it is that is along the journey will make you a better investor. It will make you learn more. It'll make you pick up all the good things, realize what went wrong, create a safety net so that doesn't happen again, and it's just part of it. But pulling the trigger and actually getting out there and making it happen and getting something moving and getting something done is really gonna move the needle more than anything else. I can guarantee you, some random dude that threw the dart at the board in Australia pre-COVID and maybe just fluked it and bought somewhere wrong, made more money than the most analytical person in the world that had every box,
every
ticked
spreadsheet,
and didn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. And he learned more by throwing that dart and going through the process and figure out what he did right, what he did wrong, and banking a little win. And then building from there as well.
In my podcast, when we spoke about my portfolio.
Have you got your own podcast?
The episode of my particular situation, one of the things, I was a big procrastinator. I know we've said this, but it's quite relevant. For a good 10 years.
Yes.
Well, no, probably at least 20 years, probably, procrastinating and making decisions.
A long time.
It was a long time.
Long time.
And it wasn't until I actually lost the money, Sammy.
Yes.
That I made a decision to take action, because people are scared of losing money, but when you actually lose it, you become less scared of losing it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
That forces you to make a decision, because you realize, you know what, I'm actually not bad. Even if I lost all that money, I'm still okay.
Yep.
And then it frees you up to make a decision. So actually that fear, and people might think we're talking abstract, but this is real life shit, because we've all gone through our own challenges. But I guarantee you, by you having a crack and making a mistake is going to be better off than having every checks and balances and not taking action.
What I would say though, the biggest thing that I would take out of this, and the biggest way I would get myself over the line with doing this stuff, is stacking the deck in your favor. Yeah. So as much as you possibly can, stack the deck in your favor. You minimize your downside. So like we always talk about, the right property, right price, right location, back yourself with the right team. You stack all that in your favor. You're going to win, But sitting on the sidelines and not pulling the trigger when you do all of that, that's loss. That's money on the table that you're losing by not pulling the trigger. But pulling the trigger, going through all those things, stack the deck in your favor, get the right team, you're going to win.
Yeah. And it's even giving yourself the exposure to win. Like if you're not on the field, you can't score. I know you didn't score many goals when you played.
Plenty. Very high scoring centre mid. Very high.
But if you don't.
Very high.
if you're not on the field, Sammy, I know you're on the bench with the Oranges, but you got to be on the field to score. So it's giving yourself exposure to the opportunities, which is a really, I know you're trying to think of something to say. Keep thinking. However, the next thing that I found that is a major procrastinating factor is people saying they don't have enough time. I don't have enough time for that. I'm too busy. Got my job, got my kids.
Call Australian Property Scout. Done.
But it is. I mean, and being self-analytical and being self-aware and looking at your situation and honestly just doing the no bullshit factor.
Yep.
Ask yourself, when I know that I haven't done, like hands-on, being honest, I should have bought a property in this second half of this year. And the reason why I haven't is because I've been too lazy to get my documents ready for getting my refinance.
To get your loans
I have. And that's being honest. It doesn't matter if you're starting out and you're saying, I haven't got any money or I don't know how to do it and all that. Wherever you are on the property spectrum, everyone's got procrastination. And I know, like if I was blaming someone else and saying, I haven't got it because of this and that, you're just bullshitting yourself. But I know that
dog ate the homework. Like
I know that I haven't achieved the objective, and it's going to put me under the pump more in the first half of next year because I haven't done it. So that self-awareness is important.
Yeah, man. I think it's a very important point. And man, it kind of it stretches to all facets of what we're talking about here as well. Self-awareness is a massive piece of it. And man, like if someone's, fearful of taking action around it, like obviously you're talking about something separate there, but they're fearful of taking action. Literally, like I was saying before, stacking the deck in your favor with all attributes that you can get right within it. That's what really can help overcome it as well.
And stacking the deck in your favor, if it is lack of knowledge. And I'm I've said to you plenty of times
Yeah.
when we started working
You're
together,
not
I don't know
smart.
how to do it.
Yeah. IQ level very low.
I don't know how to do it. I've said, Sammy, I'm better than Sammy at 99.9% of things. The 0.1% is property. And that is why I engage Australian Property Scout. But everything else, I've got you covered.
You reckon?
So
Your shirt's still gross. You got your bright red hat on backwards with your little tuft hanging out the front. Yeah. What is that? What is that?
So if it is lack of knowledge, right?
Did you procrastinate about what to do with your hair this morning? Because that is
either
minging.
A, get educated and put in the time to find out what you need to do the research, or you engage an expert. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
You can't, there shouldn't be a reason that you don't know.
The easiest way to take action, guys, is to take all the things that are the unknowns off the table. So like if you don't know what you're chasing, goal-wise, you're not going to be able to create a solid game plan towards it because you don't know what you're chasing. I have all the time people go to me, like I ask them, I go, what do you want? Like we do a strategy session. What are your goals? What are we chasing? Mate, I just want a better lifestyle, or I want this, or I want that. Mate, that's not a solidified goal. He's like, yeah, but I just want to create a better future. Mate, that's great. I can't create a portfolio or a game plan off the back of I want a better future. Give me a number. Get your number, figure it out what you're chasing, whether it's an intermediate goal or a long-term goal, or even better, fucking all of them in between. My long-term goal, let's say, is Jimmy, 500 grand. All right, what do we do first? All right, we aim for 50K net passive. Then we aim for 150, and then we aim for 250, and then we double that to the 500. And we build a game plan around that. And you don't have to go for something so extreme, but maybe you just start with, all right, I'm going to get myself to 100,000 net passive. Okay, sweet. What is the game plan to get you there? So you're taking off all the unknowns off the table and you create it. Okay, here's my goal. Beautiful, 100,000. What's the game plan? This is what it would take me. I need this many growth properties. I need this many cash flow deals. And really, you just start factoring everything into the equation. Okay, what am I short on? Have I got good serviceability, low capital? Have I got great capital, low serviceability? That's going to create what deal I need in the portfolio. Yeah. Beautiful. Now I know what deal I need in the portfolio. Now I'm going to either engage with someone that can help me do that, or I'm going to, if I have the time and I think I have the knowledge and the expertise and I can do it better than someone that does this full time, I'm going to go off and try and find that location and that deal type and everything myself, or you can go and engage with someone that does it and work down that avenue as well. So you're stacking a deck. Again, like stack the deck from in terms of what you're actually going to buy with, but then you're also making it extremely clear and you're stacking your deck that you're going to succeed with your portfolio because you're like, well, this is my game plan. Oh, sorry, this is my goal. This is my game plan. These are the guys that are going to help me execute. Even if it's just to get you started, to get you learning how to actually do this process. Yeah. Obviously, at Australian Property Scout, we're extremely committed to our mission, which is to retire 500 people by 2030. And I love that, and I love that we're chasing that, and we've got a lot of people on this goal, on this train that we're chugging towards this goal in 7 years. And really, it comes down to solidifying these goals and then executing the correct deals for those clients to then move towards it. And when you've got all those things, and the reason I'm bringing this up and talking about this is because the best way to beat procrastination and the best way to take action is to create something that's almost like foolproof, fail-safe. Like everything's there. Why wouldn't you do the deal? Yeah. And if you don't have the confidence to go and do the deal by yourself, engage someone that's going to bring you a high-quality deal that you will not be able to turn down. Because realistically, if this is your game plan to getting to retirement and to getting to what you're chasing, what you really need is that, and if the only thing that's there is stopping you is a procrastination of pulling the trigger, you need someone to help you get across the line. And if that's what you need, then essentially that's what you need to go out there and source from that perspective to help you. If you think you can do it yourself or you want to do it yourself, then you have to get yourself over that hurdle. But if that is the biggest thing stopping you, then this is a thing you need to overcome. And again, stack the deck with all these different things. And then they're going to help you stack the deck to win. Right property, right price, right location, right strategy of the property first. Putting the right deal in the portfolio that's going to allow you to keep moving forward. You're setting yourself up to win, and you're taking all the excuses off the table, all the reasons why you shouldn't buy. When you take all of those off, you're going to get confidence around it, and the procrastination is going to go.
100%. I love that. And even have the ability to change tax. Like, let's just say you decide to do it on your own.
Yes.
If you haven't done anything within 3 or 6 months or whatever time period you've set, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result is the definition of insanity.
Yeah.
You have to change tax.
100%.
So be aware enough to pivot and change if you need to. Let your results, this is what I often say, let your results dictate and be the judge.
Yep.
Not what you think or what you tell your mates or what big game you're talking or what you're posting,
Yep.
all that crap. Let the actual results drive your decisions.
Yeah, 100%.
And that takes away all the emotion because you either have or you haven't.
Yep.
Don't talk bullshit.
Yeah.
I've done that. I've done that so much. That's why, obviously, I'm really passionate about it because I want people, I love it when I get onto a call with a young guy or girl and they're so focused on what they want to do. And I actually say to them, I'm actually quite envious of you. I go, I'm envious of you because I wish I had, when I was 20 or 25, this avenue to explore and to take action on that. And I didn't, and I don't regret what I've done, but I can picture the next 15 years by the time they get to their 40s, what their life's going to be like if they just follow that process.
Yeah, 100%. Man, I look at like when I was, and I've obviously done pretty well as an investor over the past
exceptionally well.
14 years, right? But I look at, I probably couldn't have, I couldn't have afforded one when I first started. I bought my first property with about 25 grand. I don't even think I had 30. I think I needed the first home owners grant to get into my first deal. I was making 38 grand a year. Didn't have that much. But when that property started to run and I pulled the equity out of it, if I look at it now and if I had gone and worked with myself, then like work with me who I am now, APS.
A buyer's agent like you that was doing the results,
Yeah, with APS.
Yeah.
And I can say that because I don't really rate anyone else, to be honest.
Great.
Especially working with that lower income, lower capital. I have a lot of respect for that because I was there.
Yeah.
And you need someone that understands it because if you get that wrong, your journey's done. But I look at like myself now, what I help a lot of our younger, lower income clients, lower budget clients do. And that's everyone in the team. That's all the BAs helping source. That's the client success guys. That's strategists as well. Getting in there and working, helping these guys get to that result, and actually executing on the correct deals in the portfolio as well. Putting those correct deals in. If I look at where I am now, yes, my last, what am I now, 33. Since 26, I've had pretty explosive growth in my portfolio. But the age gap between 19 to 26 was very slow. It was a very, very slow window of accumulation. It was like six properties in 7 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Very slow. If I'd been working with myself back then and helping mentor and strategize and build the right properties in the portfolio, I would have bought in better markets. I would have gone more aggressively. I would have known when to sell out of different markets, bank those profits, move it on. I was learning all this by myself. And I love it now because like, I know all this stuff now. But yeah, man, like having that mentor, having that person in that corner, I would be in a better position than I am right now. And that sounds crazy to say, but I would literally be in a better position than I am right now if I had started the journey a little bit more correctly back at the start.
Which is a really good segue into one of the other points I had here, and that's the influence of the people around you. So what you're talking about is having people that have already done what you're trying to do and just copy them. And I love on the calls when people bring up circle of influence.
Yep.
Because it's clearly landing for people.
Definitely.
And it's clearly getting into people's psyche, and they love saying it. I'm improving my circle of influence. I love it.
Man, tall poppy syndrome in Australia is massive. And if you've got people around you that like don't agree with you or ramp up your procrastination or put doubt in your mind, I wouldn't be surrounding myself with those people. And even if they're your family, like I had this same thing with my family and I had to like not talk to my family about this stuff because they would put negative thoughts in my head around all this stuff. So I had to eliminate them out of conversations when it came to property. Because I was a low income earner and I was pushing the limits on what I could do. And they were worried about me, but it wouldn't have helped my position to not do it. It helped me get out of that low income position by doing what I did. So,
and also just understanding like in that situation, because we're pretty similar in that sense that your family's trying to protect you.
Yeah.
And often any advice you're getting from your family, generally, especially your parents, they're not trying to keep you down and smother you. They just haven't done what you're trying to do, and they're trying to protect you through the lens of the fear that they have and the decisions they didn't make. So it's not about getting into an argument and because I've been there, you argued with your 100%. Siblings. It's more about saying, you know what, listen to the advice. Thank you. I appreciate your feedback. Take that information and you make the decision yourself on your own 2 feet, right? So you're still you're still
I
listening.
personally would say if they're feeding that procrastination side of things, I wouldn't take the advice. I wouldn't have the conversation. Because you have the conversation, it fills your head with that bullshit. It's the same as listening to the news and the media or the rest of it. I don't listen to any of it. Any of it that's negative from that end, if it's not giving me factual advice on what's actually happening out there, like I've got a few little things that I will read that give me factual evidence on things that are going on in the market, but that's all I need. And the reason I listen to it is because it's helping me stay ahead of things for clients and staying on top of things for clients and for the business and all the rest of the thing of that. Anything outside of that that's not directly related to what I need to know, I don't want to know it. And it's exactly the same. It's like you saying, listen to it, don't fucking listen to it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Don't listen to anyone that's going to that's going to fuel the fire of that because they're not helping you get to where you want to go. If you got goals and they're going to slow you down, don't have the conversation. And there may be people you love, maybe family, maybe friends, whatever. Doesn't matter. If they're not on the same journey as you, do not have that conversation with them.
And you'll be surprised by opening up your circle of that one conversation away. I always remember one mentor said, you're only ever one circle away from changing your life.
100%.
And that's that one phone call or the one conversation. You meet someone and that sparks something in you.
And that's why I say you never know who in your friendship group is also looking at this stuff, but maybe you don't want to talk to people about this as well. But there's maybe looking at this stuff or listening to a bit of this, bit of that or whatever, and maybe you've gone into your shell a little bit, not wanting to talk to other people about it. That's why I literally say, like, it's obviously we're trying to grow the audience and everything as well with Scouting Australia. But like sending it around to people, you never know who else is listening or who else is thinking about this stuff. Or trying to. So you never know who you're going to pull out that can also help you out of your procrastination, and maybe you'll help them out of theirs. And all of a sudden you've got this person you can talk to and work with about this stuff. Because so often the biggest feedback I get on this podcast is it's like they're talking with their mates about the property stuff that they want to talk about.
Yeah.
Because they feel like they can't talk to anyone about it.
Yeah.
But then they go and they flick it off to a couple of mates and go, mate, I think you should listen to this. I just heard this really cool app. And they go, oh yeah, mate, I listened to it as well. Or whatever. Or mate, that was mad.
Yeah.
Let's catch up for a beer and have a chat about it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
You know?
Yeah, I love that.
Seriously, man.
I love that.
Mate, the amount of like weird random stories I've had. I caught up with mates down in Sydney a weekend or two ago, and they were telling me they were talking about property because I'd bought for one of my mates, and this dude and his missus had bought their primary residence down in Wollongong, and he was just talking about the investment stuff. Like, oh, yeah, I've been thinking about it. I've been listening to this podcast, and I have no idea who these people are.
Listening to...
Yeah, and he goes, and my mate goes to him, oh, what podcast do you listen to? And she pulls it out and shows, and she hadn't even been telling the partner. The partner goes, that's Petey's mate. And Petey goes, who? He goes, what the fuck, Sammy? You know what I mean? Like, and there's people like they're almost like not wanting to talk about it because everyone's a bit embarrassed about it or whatever, or like, oh, I got because I don't want anyone to chop my head off because tall poppy and all the rest of it. But you never know who's around there that's thinking. Literally, the partner didn't even know. The husband didn't even know she'd been listening to it on the way to and from work. She'd heard me on something else. Came over to Scouting Australia, and then man, it's mad.
Which is a really good that partner piece.
Yeah.
And getting your partner on the same page. If your partner's not supportive of that, that could be a procrastinating thing. Is
100%.
Not being on the same page with your partner. So having that conversation and saying, hey, love, or whatever you call your partner, what are we actually trying to achieve here? Let's get on the same page.
Love. G'day, love.
Dal.
Bring us the stubby, would ya? That's what you say, isn't it?
But don't you think?
Yeah.
Like if you're going in
100%.
two different directions,
Yeah.
that's going to cause all sorts of friction.
Yeah.
And of course, you're not going to bring it up.
Yep.
Because someone's really fearful about money. And
But
this is the money story.
But you're only going to grow further apart, though, man.
Yeah.
Like, in the sense of like this conversation, this dialogue around this. And the thing is, as well, if you're moving strongly in this path, or maybe your partner just sent you this and you're moving in the other way, like realistically, this is going to better your life. This betters your life.
100%. That's why we're doing it.
Exactly.
I'm not here to look at your mug.
Mate, I wish you'd wear a bag on your head. It would make me so mumuch happier if I couldn't see your face.
Does
right
anyone notice that as soon as I throw in one little bit of burley, he just, not only does he jump, he does a backflip, somersault, forward roll, 360.
There's no pause either, eh? It's like straight in there. Straight in there.
Yeah. Oh,
It's I'm thinking as I'm looking at you. That's good. You got anything else? You got your skeleton here. Well, pick through your bones.
There was another piece here about being patient, and this is a really difficult thing, I find, me Patience is terrible for me. And I understand that patience or that procrastination piece of understanding, you know what, we need to actually give yourself the space to realize the big picture goal. I find that's a really tough thing for me.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but
I don't have much patience at all.
No, you don't.
Clearly
from your reaction before. I think we get that. So, and the last thing for me, Sammy, was just the money story.
Yep.
That you've been brought up with, the procrastination that I don't have enough money, I'm not meant to have wealth, the tall poppy syndrome, all of that bullshit stuff that we do. We all have a money story, folks, and it's the way you've been brought up. We've all been there. You need to dispel that. The best way to get away from that is to build a compelling future, get educated, surround yourself with the right people, and your money story will change.
100%.
So you know how you said I want to make 500 grand passive income, right?
Yes.
When I started out, when I started out, that wasn't my goal.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get started.
100%.
So your goal's going to change.
Yeah.
So don't let the big audacious goal stop you.
Yeah.
Just, I want to get started.
Yeah.
I want to get my first property. Then I want to buy 5 properties.
100%.
Then I want to get 10. And then all of a sudden you start realizing, okay, I can see exactly what I can achieve here. So your goal will change. What are you laughing at?
Everyone, Jimmy has just proven himself once again as a level 1 investor because you're getting hung up on the properties. And this is where you're missing the point.
No, but I'm just talking about, I'm talking about bite sizes. Yeah. It's less about
but when we're setting the goals and what
whatever.
we're chasing.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay.
But I'm just trying to get people's psychology to not get them to stop taking action.
Yeah,
just keep it simple in terms of what it is.
100%.
Little bite-sized goals.
Biggest thing I think we can do on this, guys, to hit this on the head and wrap it all up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
The biggest thing.
You've been going on.
Number 1, shut up, Jimmy. Number 2, get educated. Get educated, guys. And surround yourself. Actually, I'm going to say the next one. Get educated. Number 1, shut up, Jimmy. Number 2, get educated. Number 3, stack the deck. Stack the deck in your favor. That goes back to point number 2 of getting educated. And surround yourself with people that are also getting educated.
That's right.
Once again, send on the podcast if you think someone will take value. If you think someone in your circle might be thinking about this or talking about this, or someone's mentioned something offhandedly, send them this thing and start talking about it. And group like in a group setting almost, or a one-on-one with someone else, help yourself get past these things as well. Stack the deck by getting clear on what you're chasing and what you need, and potentially stack the deck by getting the right team in your corner that's going to be able to execute properly for you. So you're stacking the deck on all these different levels so that when you take action, which is step number 4, when you take action, you have stacked the deck to win. And that is the biggest thing. And that is what I always try and do with everything I'm out there trying to do in my life, as bloody business, property, personal, whatever it is. Stack the deck. And if procrastination is what's against you, if you stack the deck to win, just take action. And if you've done all the right things, which you are doing by stacking the deck, you're going to win. Perfect. It's as simple as it comes.
Done.
Good?
Love it.
Beautiful.
Let's wrap it up.
Listeners, thanks once again for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. As stated before, if there's anyone you think could take great value out of this, maybe someone that is just sitting on the sidelines and thinking about it, whatever, doesn't want to have a chat about it, maybe you need to help coerce them into having a good chat about this thing and coming out of their shell and talking about it. You never know who else is listening or who else is thinking about it. So if there's someone else you think you could really help add some value to, because I wasn't kidding before when I was saying this shit is life-changing. You look at what I was doing before I did this and before I started investing, I had no right to I had no right to get where I am right now from an investing perspective. And anyone can do it. No one needs a stupidly huge portfolio, but anyone can build a decent portfolio on any income. 100%. I don't care what anyone says. Anyone can do it. Never too late, never too hard a position to do it. There's just ways you got to do it and ways you got to get right. So make sure you're sending this on to anyone you think could take some great value out of it. If you haven't left us a 5-star review yet, please jump on there. Leave us a 5-star review. We've had heaps flowing in. We are very, very thankful. You guys are all doing a great job, giving us a great thumbs up, giving us good reviews and everything as well. So we are very, very appreciative of it, guys. But until next week, that's a wrap on Beating Procrastination, another mindset app with Big Jimmy Ibrahim and his dirty red hat. Until next week, guys, I'll see you later.